get our little stream running. Check that everything is good to go. It seems like it is. And then we're just gonna get working, chilling and chatting. This is a type of stream I've not done in quite some time. Doing a little co-working stream, but we'll see how it goes. How is everyone doing tonight? Get the little chat pop-out box sorted. Chill and chat and lurk for a bit, because I've got stuff I should really be doing, and I want to get work out the way so I can have my end of year stuff. And I'm probably not going to do the whole thing on here. Any of the stuff in here that ends up being to do with awards, I'll probably do off stream, but I just want to get some writing done with some chill, some people around for accountability, and just have a nice little chill time with some music and be click-clacking away. Hey Alice, hey Gumba Master, how you both doing? Yeah, I'm sleepy today. I was debating what stream to do. I was thinking of doing more in Stars and Time, and I was just real tired. And I was gonna do some Vampire Survivors, and then my game crashed and I lost a run, and I was just like, not in the mood. And I got a bunch of writing to do, so I was just like, I'm gonna make just hanging out doing work kind of stream. And you will get to see the process that is me agonizing over the start of a document before words eventually pour out of me. First paragraph is always the worst. It's the one where I have to make a thing get... the document has to start getting momentum, and that requires me to actually make a start happen. Yes, this is something from Monster Hunter. I don't know exactly what it is. It is, let me find out. Poke Village theme from Monster Hunter. Yeah. Yeah, chilling with music while I try and work out how to get my brain to kick into gear and start making end-of-year content happen. I might just read... Oh, is this probably a video? An ad playing at me. Yeah, didn't have words. It was fun. No.
Cool. We have a good flow, so we're gonna have a good.
No, no adverts. Go away. This is chilling with video game music and writing time. Yeah, some of these times I might just read what I'm writing to myself just to check flow for when I record it as a video and whether it makes sense read. Wincy says, what were your thoughts on the game advertisements? I think that it is a real fucking shame that the Accessibility Award got kicked into the pre-show rather than the main show this year. Even more so because the trailer for there was a trailer for a musical adventure game with an American Sign Language using deaf protagonist who does ASL to the musical numbers. I think was the coolest trailer of the night, and it sucks that it was relegated to the pre-show. Oh, Kanji, I haven't been able to join a stream since February because of work and time zone differences. Hope you've been well. I've been well. It's been a busy, exciting, chaotic year, as all of them seem to be at the moment. Gosh, I think Pokemon DLC is coming out Wednesday. I was gonna say I was thinking about what I'm streaming later this week, and I'm like, Pokemon DLC is coming out. Of course, it's gonna be Pokemon DLC, and this is why I'm gonna be streaming so much Pokemon. That is part of why I'm doing a writing stream tonight. Is I'm like, I need to get the writing done, and it's not gonna get done on usual times. Andy H says, did you see the clip of the guy from Tears of the Kingdom be told to wrap it up when he was paying tribute to someone who died? A lot of people who were telling stories of people who died during development got told to wrap it up. It was a bit of an overcorrection from last year, letting Chris Judge speak for 8 minutes. It wasn't great. Was the pre-show actually less watched? Just seems as put together as the rest of the show, just Jeff still getting ready. If you look at the numbers, there was a spike at the start when people thought that was the start of the show, then they saw it was a pre-show, and then there was a big numbers dip and people came back half an hour later, which really sucks. Yeah, 2023 is coming to a close, and as is tradition here on this channel, we're taking some time in late December to look back on everything that happened in video game accessibility in this past year. Yeah, in's not needed. I am a writer who sometimes needs to just read to myself so that I see the shit I did. And look, even if the views were the same, there is a perceived, like, anything you put in the pre-show, like, there is a perception that it's less important because it was in the pre-show, not the main show. Like, the pre-show isn't done on the big stage. It's not done for the audience in the room to see. It's done with the little presenter to the side for the internet audience, not for the main stage. Like, there is a sense that you are snubbing to a certain degree if you put a thing on the pre-show. And accessibility has been a main show award, because like you don't get that same level of gravitas if you win a pre-show award, and it really sucks that that's a distinction. If you see what I mean. Anyway. Densha to Go, I've heard a lot of really cool things about Densha to Go, because it's a Japan exclusive series and there would be a language barrier I would have to overcome. I just haven't gotten around to it. It's just one where I'm like, I need to have enough brain to deal with a language barrier, and that's not always the energy I have when I'm in the mood for train stuff. Alright. So, in no particular order, and probably a few. As I look back on There's a guide online that helps with the menus, but no Japanese needed at all. But the problem is I have to look up a guide online to help me with the menus. Like, that's already, like, there is a language barrier that exists, and even if there are tools to help me get past it, it is a thing that is just, like, it's not where my head is at when I want to play train games. Like, there will be a time where I will play Densha to Go, What I'm saying is, I don't think there will ever be a it's rare that there's a moment where it's like, I'm in the mood to try a new train game, but also I have the focus and attention to have to be cross-referencing something. It's just a comfort genre for me, and it's not one I want to... It's just a thing, a hurdle. And I know it's not a practical hurdle, but in my head it is, so... I'm gonna have to buy a thing that, like, might just sit around for a while, and I'm like, the time will come. I'll know when it's time for me to play Densha to go. Takavian says, even the smallest roadblock's still a roadblock. That makes sense from another ADHD brain. Yeah, it's not even that it's a big hurdle. It's task initiation. It is... If it's not instant gratification, and if there is, like, it becomes a multi-stage process to get into the thing, I find it very hard to do that when I could just play the train game I've already got where I can read the menus. And that is... I'm not saying that's a good way to think about it, but I got the ADHDs, and that's sometimes how it be. Anyway, as you're seeing, if you're looking at this document I'm writing, I'm still trying to work out what the format of this video I'm writing is. I don't know whether it's going to be just a recap on the year, if it's going to be an awards thing, if it's going to be a bit of both. I'm trying to work out that format at the moment. And the intro is dictating, like, once the intro feels right, I'm like, that's what this video is, I guess. Currently I'm leaning towards some awards thrown in, but I'm Stop playing adverts at me, PC. I need to make these adverts go away. I'll sort it. We'll sort that in a minute, so we just get video game music and it'll be fine. Darwincy says, I'll be playing Final Fantasy 1 Anniversary while listening. Lovely. This is a little coexisting space tonight. Terra says, looking forward to the end of the season of Dice Funk. Great season, can't wait to see how it ends. Like the two engineers coming together to nerd out. Looks like it's all going to come down to Trizzy interfacing with the AI. It really seems like the next episode will be the last. And I think, don't quote me on this, I think there's one more episode and then one or maybe two end of season things. There's maybe like 3 weeks left of this season if you count like the post-mortem and stuff. Yes, Death Tales, I have heard about the Raspberry Pi network level ad blocker. I am aware of it. I try not to run generally speaking, I try not to run ad blockers because as someone that makes my living on the internet, I recognize that as annoying as it is how content online largely operates it for creators that are not on things like Patreon. And I'm like, I don't want to be that person who like staffs the ad revenue model for the people for whom that is actually how they're making their income, but also ads are fucking annoying and that's a line I gotta walk. Anyway, while I'm making an effort to highlight as many wonderful moments and games as I can in this video, there will undoubtedly be things I miss. The video game accessibility space is growing every year, and living with ADHD, I may simply have forgotten something awesome due to funky brain chemistry. I missed something awesome and accessible. That's great. Let me know down in the comments below this video. I'm debating whether I turn this into 2 videos, but the question is, like, I want to take, like, a week off over Christmas, and I need to get end-of-year stuff done before that, which means I have to get it recorded in time to get it edited, and I'm like, 1 extra video to edit, and I'm like, because I wanted to do this in a sort of end-of-the-year, like, an accessibility awards format. But I think if I do it as an accessibility awards format, what I need to do would be to do a tweet or something that was like, hey, what was the most impactful thing to you in accessibility this year in games? And am I alright to share your thoughts? And anything I gave an award, I think I would need to reference someone for whom it was their accessibility game of the year thing, because the problem we've reached compared to when Accessibility as a show started was there used to be clear frontrunners of this was clearly the most accessible thing of the year in this category, and that's not so much the case now. And as someone that doesn't have personal experience with every category, I think if I go the awards direction, I think it needs to be a here, and even if I do it that way, maybe the way to do it is just to like everything great that happened in accessibility this year, everything gets an award. And I know that's kind of a cheeky way to do it, but like it's kind of a cheat. It's kind of not actually. If everything wins an award, nothing wins an award, but also it's accessibility. I want all these things to... What if we just take out the award mention for now? Because what I could do instead, and I think this might be the other way to do it, is to do my own Game of the Year awards as like a general, not focused on accessibility, Game of the Year awards as a separate video, which is a thing I was thinking of doing already, and have like a graphic of like, hey, in Laura K. Buzz's Game of the Year awards, this one gets the accessibility stamp of approval or something like that, and be like, I love this game and it was accessible. This was one of my Game of the Years and was accessible. Might be the way to do it. Possibly. Because like this year feels like a weird one in that like I simultaneously feel like there are some categories if I did an accessibility specifically focused Game of the Year video, some categories would be really fucking obvious because there's only really one contender. Okay, I'm gonna find something else to put on sound-wise because yeah, we're not having these adverts. Yeah, there are some categories in which like the winner would be really fucking obvious and there'd be no point, and there'd be other categories that by comparison, like, there would be multiple you deserve to win and I don't want to pick one of you over the other. And as an individual, like, it feels weird to do it that way, so... Can I... Ooh, I might have... Okay, I might be able to get us around the adverts for now. Give me a sec. We can get back to the music any second now. Come on. Let me back to where the music was. Give me... this will do. Hooray, we shouldn't have ads now, I think. Yeah. Yeah, let's take out the awards mention. I think this just becomes end of year wrap up. I think it starts in that format at least anyway. Have you heard that Japan has gotten rid of the transphobic law demanding to legally change your gender, you need to be sterilized? I don't know enough about Japanese politics to speculate about where that change came from, other than if that has happened, I feel like part of it is global pressure. Like, the list of countries that requires sterilization yet tries to present themselves as pro-trans is a dwindling list, and that's something. You know, there might be more to it, but I don't know enough about internal politics to speculate on what would be the catalyst for that kind of change. I've put in no particular order, but there is an order. Like, I should probably just do this in chronological order. And I'm pretty sure this is largely in chronological order already, except for Mortal Kombat. I need to work out where did Mortal Kombat release in this order? When did Mortal Kombat 1 release? It was roughly... Oh, it was September, so it would have been right around Starfield. Remember Starfield's release window. So, yeah, we take Mortal Kombat 1. I think we bob it just after Starfield. Other than that, I'm pretty sure this is chronological order. I don't know if there's anything big in accessibility that I haven't put on this list. Is it tooting my own horn to put the Accessibility Summer Showcase on here? Is that too self-centered to put that on the year as it were? I think as long as I preface it with a not to toot my own horn, I'm very proud of this. Which would be like... And then the question is, like, things like... something like the PS5 Access Controller. Okay. Structural thoughts. I need to work out when I want to talk about certain things, because if a thing was announced at one point and that was notable, but it came out at a different point and that's notable, if I'm doing it chronologically, do I tell the whole story of the thing when it was announced, or do I tell the whole story of the thing when, like, in order of when it released? Or do I split the story in half? I feel like splitting the story in half doesn't really super make sense. I'm thinking the examples. Because currently I have Forza Motorsport announces ambitious blind driving assists. I would need to put that in an additional time. Forza and the PS5 Access Controller are really the only two examples of that happening. PSVR 2, Resident Infinite eye tracking, Brock the Investigator, PS5 accessibility store tags, Street Fighter 6 modern control scheme, Diablo 4, Copilot Medical Plants, Sea of Thieves, audio aim assist. Because if I'm doing it that way, yeah. Sea of Thieves might be the thing that makes me bundle them, because Sea of Thieves, I would want to talk about private servers. It doesn't feel justified to split them up. PS5 Access Controller feels like it needs to be where it ends. Maybe I sometimes do it case by case. Yeah, I feel like PS5 access control is really the only thing where it bookended the year. Ooh, game you're looking forward to in the future would be Deltarune. I'm definitely looking forward to Deltarune. I am so bloody curious what the fuck is going on with the way that Chapter 2 ended. Where is Ditto? You know what? I'm gonna finally do it now. I'm gonna get rid of the Ditto redeem emote. The Ditto has never worked, and I have ADHD, and I'm always midstream when someone does the Ditto emote, and I remember the Ditto emote doesn't and never has worked. And I never remove it from the list of redeems. So, I apologize for any spent bits there. Well, they're not bits, channel points. I tried to make a thing, and I spent like 2 full days trying to make it work, and it never worked. How do I... Here we go. It's finally time that the broken Ditto emote it goes back in the vault until I can fix the Ditto emote. Until there is a functioning Ditto emote. The non-functional Ditto emote no longer should appear in the list. I apologize, Darwincy, you used it twice and asked where was it, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. I have ADHD. I start projects and then they don't work and then I forget about them. I fucking love having a brain condition where I just forget shit that is not immediately in front of me. Woo. Yeah, focus on me play. Like, PS5 access controller has to be the last thing, really. Like, there's nothing that works as a better closer. But I also think... I think it needs to be the opener. Because, like, pull back the curtain slightly. The first accessibility video I did in 2023 was a standardizations that accessibility needs to get on board with in 2023. And I was publishing that like first week of January, and I had to rewrite and like re-edit. We'd exported the video. I had to like record a segment to like splice in, because one of the things I was saying was PlayStation should have support for an accessibility controller, and literally in like the 2-day window between exporting and when it was going to go live, the Project Leonardo was announced, and I was like, in my head, that was 100% like how Sony kicked off the year accessibility wise with that announcement. I think leaving it as a bookend works. Okay, yeah. So I think this is how we're gonna do it. Just gonna bold that and start writing. I think that anecdote I just told you, chat, is I think how I'm going to start this. I think that's how we open this. First episode of accessibility I published at the start of 2023 was a look forward at ability support. I'd like to see the video game industry standardize in the year ahead. That video needed to be edited at the last moment because one section of the video was me wishing that PlayStation would, in 2023, announce some kind of official support for a PS5 for an accessibility controller on PS5. The first episode of Accessibility I published at the start of 2023 was a look forward at accessibility support I'd like to see the video game industry standardize in the year ahead. I wanted. Let's get my tenses right. It was a look forward at accessibility support. I want support that I wanted to see. Yeah, is that it? Look forward at accessibility support that I wanted to see the video game industry standardize in the year ahead. That video needed to be edited at the last moment because one section of the script was me wishing that PlayStation would, in 2023, announce some kind of official support for an accessibility controller on PS5. In the 2-day window between recording and posting the video, PlayStation kicked off the year by announcing their own officially proprietary accessibility controller for the console at the time named Project Leonardo. Did we see images of it at the time? Was Project Leonardo talked about in like vague terms, or did they show us the images straight away? I do not remember. Project Leonardo announcement. Let's have a look back. This is 4th of January. Okay, yeah, they did show an image of it at the time. Did they show the lack of ports? Yeah, they did show the 3.5mm port situation somewhat. I mean, they were pretty open about that thing. Okay. So yeah, this is how we open. When Project Leonardo was first PlayStation were surprisingly pretty upfront. PlayStation shared a lot of specific information about their new controller right out of the gate, showcasing the controller's unique modular design formed of a circular ring, customizable buttons with a built-in custom analog stick to one side and a limited number of 3.5mm input ports for external devices. Terra says, my game of the year is going to be Octopath Traveler 2. It's the game I had the most fun with. I wish I loved both the Octopath Travelers more than I do. Part of this stream might be me working on my game of the year video list. I need to get my list of what's going on there. Like that.
The post-Christmas dinner game.
No, why am I still getting ads? I thought
One eye on the board game, one on the cheese board.
No, I thought I'd gotten us out of ads mode. Did I not get us out of where we were going to have ads? I thought we'd come to an arrangement. Thought we'd come to a deal. But we weren't going to do that anymore. Had we not done so? No. Let me try this one more time. Can we have less ads? Can we have less ads? Can we? We might be able to have less ads. We're going to try this one more time. Ads? Fewer of them, please. Can we do that? We'll get there. It'll work. It'll function. Third time's the charm. F the Bard says, I think my game of the year is In Stars and Time. If it hadn't come up on Podquisition, it would have been Cassette Beasts. Yeah, I was thinking about, I might start working on my game of the year list here, but it feels like that's a slightly more spoilery thing to work on stream than accessibility wrap-up. Because, like, if you follow accessibility, you will probably be aware of most of the things that happened in game accessibility in the year. Yeah, where was I? Device. Until nearly the end of 2023. Announcement. Well, the device wouldn't release until nearly the end of 2023. The announcement was significant. Xbox was no longer the de facto with disabilities opened up first party library to be for the first additionally, for better or worse, PlayStation's decision to go with a radically different design than that of the Xbox Adaptive Controller device wouldn't simply be mimicking what already worked in the gaming accessibility space. Variety of different styles of accessibility controller. Variety of different styles of accessibility controller opens up more options for more types of players, and that was exciting to see. With this announcement, Nintendo was left. With this announcement, we sort of with this announcement, the video game industry had crossed a hurdle. An accessibility hurdle. With the Xbox Adaptive Controller, Ori Flex, and PlayStation's new device, all three major home consoles would have access to an accessibility controller officially licensed accessibility controller by the end of the year. Sure, Nintendo's was made by a third party, but on paper this meant that you could purchase any major game console and have an option for more accessible play, which would have seemed unbelievably positive just a few short years prior. There we go. Dave Pitt in the YouTube chat says, Laura, do you think accessibility in gaming is getting better or worse? And is there a genuine attempt or performative? Is there a light in the end of the tunnel, as it were? I think it is getting better, and I think some of it's performative, but I think even if it's performative, the performative stuff is leading momentum. I think that there is a lot of it that is sincere, and the stuff that is performative will lend groundswell to the stuff to other companies. I think if you look at where we were 3.5 years ago, like start of 2020, compared to today, it is unbelievable the strides we have made. We are reaching start of 2020, look maybe 6 months before The Last of Us 2 came out. A game having a dedicated accessibility menu by itself was notable. Now, it's more notable when a game, it's not newsworthy necessarily that a game has an accessibility settings menu. It's more notable the companies that don't. And that kind of shift is really something to applaud. You look at the obvious contenders, PlayStation, Xbox, Ubisoft, for all my issues with them, are really setting standards that company-wide our games should be doing these things. But you're starting to see companies like Capcom catching up and going, we need to be better. We're starting to see genres that were thought inherently inaccessible get really ambitious experimentation. We're seeing developers, if nothing else, people with the purse strings realizing that there is financial incentive to make a game really accessible because they get a lot of positive praise and buzz for doing something new in accessibility, and as cynical as that is, that gets them the coin purse open so that the people who are passionate about this stuff can get that work done. I think give it another 3 years, we will be at a point where a company that still isn't on board the accessibility train will be very much an outlier and will be the, hey, big AAA company, you still aren't doing accessibility, that's fucking bonkers of you. Adam Kate in the YouTube chat says, in your bullet points, are you covering Xbox's rare PR misstep last month with banning unsupported devices, or are you trying to give them the benefit of the doubt? I probably should put that in there. Where would that be? That'd be here. And if I'm going to do that, I should probably do the Nintendo ornament one as well. That probably put them both together. Nintendo. Ban. Licensed peripherals / Xbox bans. Unlicensed devices. Yeah, should probably put them both in there. This piece is neat. Where's it from? Probably a Pokemon. What is it? Let me find out. This is Time Gear from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time / Darkness / Sky. It's a Mystery Dungeon tune. Yeah. Let me have a look at this Project Leonardo thing. Still a year from officially releasing as the Xbox, as the PS5 access controller. What's still the year? There we go. When in the year was the Summer Showcase? It was... When did Diablo 4 come out? It came out on the 5th of June. Okay, so it would have been just after Diablo 4 Summer Showcase. Cool. This is Twin Leaf Town from Diamond and Pearl. Whoever said that was correct. Yeah, so if we're going to put the Summer Showcase in... yeah, this is going to be the year's big expensive video, but we'll get this done. So, Project Leonardo. God, this is going to be a long video if I keep going at this level of detail. Realistically, I probably need to be, like, skimming these a bit more. I can't be going to that level of... It's end of the year, though. Okay. I need to make my Hi-Fi Rush bullet points. I've got to find my document. Let me find my list of accessibility stuff for this game. Oh yeah, we've got the Bethesda article with recap. Remind me, what did we have in this game? We had cutscene, good robust subtitles. Oh, we had context subtitles. Yes, colorblind mode. Rhythm visualization is like the big thing this did. Auto action mode. Single key difficulty. Dead zone stuff. Game can be paused during gameplay and most cutscenes. Review tutorial text. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we got robust subtitles. Rhythm visualizer. It's both in world and more explicit with them assist providing a lower screen. Metronome is not the right word, but I'll find it later. Colorblind settings. Auto action. Single button combo. Single button combo. What's the word? It's the best combo. The optimal. Single button combo optimizer. Single key, yeah. Single key rhythm optimizer to make sure no action needs two buttons pressed at the same time. I think big bets for that. Adam Katie says, I like this is becoming a Charlie Brooker-esque accessibility wipe. I mean, that's kind of it. It's an excuse. Like, it's so easy to forget. Like, who was it in chat a minute ago? David Pitt, who's asking, like, is accessibility getting better? It's when I can sit and write, like, a piece like this, and put a piece like this out, that it reminds me, like, yeah, we really are getting there. The number of, like, really interesting, notable things to talk about this year. Again, if you look back just a few years, like, you'd have struggled to make this in depth of a, here's what happened in the year. And it's nice to go, oh yeah, all of that was this year. A little. Oh, I might have some crisps in the bag. I might have a little snack in a minute. I need to remember the specifics of Hi-Fi Rush's release. It was a surprise release after an Xbox showcase of some kind. What was its release date? 25th of January, gosh, it really was. Yeah, so it was end of January. There we go. What did I think of the game? What did I think of the Game Awards? The Game Awards were exactly what we should have expected them to be. I think it sucks that the Accessibility Award and the very cool trailer that came with it were relegated to the pre-show. I think that it was an overcorrection to be quite as aggressive as they were about speech lengths, even if I understand how Chris Judge's 8-minute speech sort of led to it this year. I think any expectation that Jeff Keighley would recognize all the fucking layoffs in the games industry were misguided, and I think that there was really no hope of him respecting the wishes of the future class that requested he talk about Palestine. Again, was never going to happen. It's a marketing first event. You know. Why is this one song, like, way louder? This one song is way louder than the rest of these. Hey, Thimba. Okay, right, so how am I going to talk about Hi-Fi Rush? Surprise released during an Xbox showcase in late January. Oh! Reach W, thank you very much for the 4 months of sub. Snacks. I shall snacks in a minute. I will definitely snacks in a minute. ETH Demon, Baldur's Gate 3 getting Game of the Year was guaranteed to happen. Tears of the Kingdom getting Action Adventure was guaranteed to happen. Like, honestly, the biggest surprise was that Alan Wake won in as many categories as it did. I think largely the winners were very predictable, as is usually the case, because they are voted on by such a wide variety of outlets and their entire editorial staffs. It really is a what is the average opinion awards industry-wide, which makes it pretty easy to get a good, like, temperature check on where it's going to end up. Simba, yes, there are at least a couple of deaf people working on Harmonious, the ASL musical adventure game, and that's super cool. ETH Demon, yeah, I thought if anything was gonna knock Baldur's Gate 3 off the top of the list, it was Tears of the Kingdom. And honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if Tears of the Kingdom took it, because Tears of the Kingdom is a more... Here's the thing. If it were a audience-voted award, the final game of the year, I think Tears of the Kingdom probably would have taken it. It's because it's like an industry, like editorial-level games writers voted award. Baldur's Gate 3 is the kind of game that, like, editorial staff are gonna fucking love to vote for. Like, I don't think globally the mass market opinion is necessarily that there for Baldur's Gate 3, but I think if you're talking about, like, people who write articles about video games gonna fucking love Baldur's Gate 3. Oh yeah, ETH Demon, I guess you're right. They did a Community Choice Award, and Baldur's Gate 3 did win that too. But you see my point. It's like, I could have seen Tears of the Kingdom winning the Community Choice Game of the Year more than I could have seen them winning the just Game of the Year. I think Tears of the Kingdom had a better chance with the general populace opinion, and, like, Baldur's Gate 3 gets a leg up by the people who vote for the Game Awards. I think part of it is novelty and subverted expectation always does really well. Like, the editor, like, the thing that is, like, really good, but also, like, you didn't expect it to be as good as it was, like, will always kind of give itself a leg up. Which do you think should have won the Games for Impact Award? Off the top of my head, Vember. It feels like a real fucking snub that Vember didn't win a single award. It feels like I could have seen it for Best Debut Indie. Games for Impact, I definitely could have seen it. Like, Tchia, great game. Don't deny that it's a great game, and, you know, congrats to them for the award. Feels like such a fucking snub that Vember didn't win anything. Anyway, surprise release during the Xbox Showcase in late January. Hi-Fi Rush is a music, rhythm, character, action game in which you play as... Oh, what was your character's name in Hi-Fi Rush? I don't remember. One of my games of the year, and I don't remember the protagonist's name. Who was I playing as? I'm gonna read this name and be like, yeah, of course. Chai. I hadn't even read the name, and I saw his face pop up when I Googled, and I was like, oh, I'm looking at your face now. Yeah, you're Chai. I remember this. Yeah. Because they were all, teas. Like, peppermint. Cinnamon. Okay. You play as Chai. How do I describe Chai? It's been a while. Chai was a person who was in the wrong place at the wrong time, got a robot arm, was gonna be siloed away. Ugh. That's always the problem. It's right in the start to these bits, and as soon as the momentum happens, I get there. Hey, oldie badger. let me look at screenshots of the start of that game and go, oh yeah, this is what was going on in that game's when that game started. What was the plot that was happening at me? Yeah, he wanted to be a rock star. He wanted to get a robot limb. They were gonna make him. Oh, they were gonna make him into a garbage collector robot. And and his iPod fell into his chest. Yeah. Okay. He was a defect. They were gonna destroy him, and yeah. Okay. Cool. I remember what's going on. Yeah, he got an iPod Touch fused into his chest. Grounded Wolf says, I'm still stuck on Hi-Fi Rush, since I love the game to bits, but the protagonist being the least interesting part of the game by an overwhelming amount still has me hung up on how much I like it overall. Chai is the least interesting part of that game, but that game is so stylish I did not care. I was like, you know what, I'm willing to put up with this man. As much as I wish I could have been like, let me just play as what was the redheaded girl that you meet really early on? I want to play as her. Just actually let me play as any of the ladies in that game. There was big tall redhead lady who joined the team. There was your initial person in the team who had the little robot cat. I would rather play as any of them but Chai. Corsica. Oh, Corsica was so good. I gotta find some more relaxing tunes to put on. Let's put some Zelda and chill on. Good old Game Chops. Yeah, so you play as Chai. A man who gets an iPod Touch accidentally implanted into his chest, which grants him the power to see and feel music flowing through the world. He's labeled a defect by the ruling class and goes on a musical adventure to try and overthrow an equally musically inclined series of grand boss fights. Read that back. Did that come across as wanky, or does that feel good? You play as Chai, a man who gets an iPod Touch accidentally implanted into his chest, which grants him the power to see and feel music flowing through the world. He's labelled a defect by the ruling class and goes on a musical adventure to try and overthrow an equally musically inclined series of grand boss fights. Over the top boss fights. Oh, no need to be sorry, Shrouded Wolf. Reach W says, I'm still shocked that Tango of all people dropped a game that stole Bayonetta 3's lunch and ate it while maintaining eye contact. Right? A studio that's known for making, like, grim, serious shooters being like, yeah, we're gonna do a colourful music rhythm character action game and just knock the shit out of Bayonetta 3. Hi-Fi Rush was one of my favourite games released in 2023, and given the game's surprise release status, it was a pleasant surprise to see the game's fairly robust accessibility and support at launch. Game featured robust customizable subtitle. Find options. Multiple difficulty modes. And options. Usually need multiple or varied inputs in combat. Players could use the auto action setting to use a single button on the beat in combat to execute an optimal attack combo, or use the single key rhythm optimizer setting to remove to ensure that no in-game actions required two buttons to be simultaneously pressed. Lastly, and perhaps most impressively, Hi-Fi Rush had some really creative ideas about rhythm visualization. Hi-Fi Rush was, I don't know what my singular game of the year is. I have this problem all the time. Depending on when you ask me, my answer on game of number one game of the year gonna wildly vary. Hi-Fi Rush is definitely very up there. I am probably for game of the year this year, when I write that video later this week, gonna do game of the year in this category for me, because I just want to highlight a bunch of cool shit, and I don't want to pit great things I played against each other. I don't want to be like, well, what was my best game that involved cooking and generational trauma in Southeast Asian households? Game of the year is Vemba, Thirsty Suitors, You Go in the Trash. It's sometimes you play two fantastic things in maybe kind of overlapping genres, and you're like, I want to highlight that you were both the best. Hi-Fi Rush is definitely up there. It's the earliest in a year I've ever gone, this might be my game of the year. I've never felt like something was a front runner for game of the year that early in the year, because that was end of January. With a visualization, players could turn on an optional beat visualizer on at the bottom of the screen, but this was often not needed. Elements of the game world regularly pulsed and moved in rhythm in time with the beat, and your floating robot cat companion could be customized to show a regular beat visualizer near the player during combat, making following the beat via visual cues impressively viable. Yeah, I used to do the ranking and try and go like, here is my one game of the year, but as more as time's gone on, I'm like, if I can give someone a list of like, here's like 7 games this year that I'm like, any one of them I might tell you is my game of the year on the right day. All of these were at some point a game I finished this year and went, that might be my game of the year. And if I can give like, here is just a little handful of games that I finished and went, I really want to make other people play this. That feels like a more important thing to me, is to have like, this is the list of things I've curated this year that I want to point you at. How do I wrap this one up? How do I finish this? Hi-Fi Rush's release was a surprise in many regards, very much including the game's accessibility, support options. Yeah, Neoxon says, have you seen the Splatoon 3 accessibility controversy with the splatter color screen special? I have. Give me 1 second. Let me show you what might be, maybe is going to be this week's accessibility episode, if you give me like 2 seconds. Oh, what's this? That's a screenshot of the thumbnail for accessibility this week. Is Splatoon 3's splatter color special is an accessibility issue. That episode is recorded, and I don't know if it's edited now or in the middle of being edited. I think it is edited. I think Jane usually does the thumbnail if she finishes the edit. But yes, I have seen the stuff. People were highlighting it to me last week. I wanted to take some time to like collect community responses, see where the community was at, what the community was going to do about it before I jumped onto the story. But yeah, I've got a video coming. That probably should be on this list. I'm tentatively putting it on here. I'm going to put it before the PS5 access controller though, because that still feels like the like neat bookend to the video. I feel like opening with Project Leonardo announcement, closing on PS5 access controller came out. Even if I have to slightly fudge the numbers on like the chronological order, I want to end on the access controller. It feels like the strongest close in roughly the right order. Maybe I cut Splatoon 3. We'll see. Ye Olde Badger, I can try and recommend some, but I'm probably not going to be the most helpful in that regard, in that I'm trying to work out the best way to was there a... One sec, let me read. Oh, it's missing an S in accessibility, isn't it? No worries for the nitpick. It's good to catch it. Yeah, Street Fighter 6 I've got in here. Have I? Yeah, Street Fighter 6 is in the list. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I gotta respond about that. One sec. Yes, sorry. So, Yieldy Badger, I came out as trans and, like, found communities to help, like, I'm gonna say, like, 15 years ago now. And the thing is, at that point, there was basically fucking nothing online. I came out in a period where, like, trying to find other trans people, specifically trans women online to make communities with, the only communities that existed were specifically like online forums started back in the 90s and largely full at the time. Like I was like 16, 17 and was in forums of like, I could tell you the names of forums I went on, but they were full of like 60 plus year old trans women who were like very specifically in the we call ourselves transsexuals. That is our term. Sort of, there was a big age bracket, and like that there was not really like my own age trans communities online that I could easily find. And then I came out publicly and suddenly was like, "You're one of few visible trans people we know." That was my trans community, so I don't really have a great place to start. I'm recommending online community for other people because I largely relied on a very age disparate, like, in-person trans group that was where I first met other trans people when I was coming out, and I suddenly, like, by virtue of being one of few trans people in a space that I was in, suddenly I didn't have that like, space to find myself online with other people my age at the time. I will have a think. I will ask some other people I know who might have better options. I'll try and throw you some options. I don't have anything great at this second. Right, where was I? Close that. Okay, so do I? Yeah, that's the thing. I was like kicking around before there were like good Reddit communities, and like I don't know where's good on Reddit. For me, the trans community was suddenly people were pointing at me as a successful trans person. I was like, and not a lot else until much later, and just gradually meeting people. There was no good centralized place I found people. Yeah, do I combine PSVR 2 and Res Infinite eye tracking into one thing? Yeah, I don't think it really makes sense to split them. Because yeah, out of that device's whole launch, it really was the Res Infinite eye tracking that was the positive, but bullet points for myself. Didn't fully need forehead in that game. There were limits on was that limited? Have a good night, Artist Synth. Gosh, how are we doing word count wise? We're only on like the third bullet point. We are at. Okay, yeah, this is gonna. Oh, this is gonna be a long one. It's gonna be a long one. I need to. Some of these are gonna need to be truncated. Some of these are gonna need to be shorter. Okay. Also, yeah, while I'm at it, when does that Pokemon DLC release, so I know when I gotta get this written by? Let's see, 1 a.m. December 14th. Okay, Thursday, 1 a.m. So like Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Okay. Thursday morning, it's going to be available, so... Yeah, I really need to get this done like tomorrow, maybe. I'm moving my schedule around what day I do what. Oh. There we go. Okay. When was the PSVR 2? PSVR 2 release date. When was that? That was February. Okay. Ooh. Date February 2023. PlayStation released the PSVR. Is PSVR 2? Is there a space between PS and VR? Remember that stupid name formatting? I feel like it's PSVR 2. PSVR 2. A high resolution VR headset for the PS5, which used cameras on the outside of the headset to track position and motion controls and tracked player eye movements to increase visual resolution where the player was actively looking rather and Incompetent Hero says, Happy Monday. According to my recap, I've watched your channel for exactly 69 hours. Nice, nice indeed, Incompetent Hero. Thank you for spending a nice number of hours in this lovely little community this year. And exploring elsewhere to improve performance. Oh god, the PSVR 2 port of Before Your Eyes was this year. God damn, that game broke me. I tried to play that in non-VR with like a webcam, but it's something else in like a proper eye-tracking VR headset where just your entire reality shifts the second you blink. Yeah, I think I might just throw in a nice mention of that game. That game is about living through a person's entire life from start to finish. Flashbacks from birth, basically talking with death on their way to the afterlife. And anytime you blink, time might just jump forward days, weeks, months, years. And it is about really trying to hold on and savor every moment, because the way memory works is like, you might just, like, particularly in childhood, you blink and, like, time has leapt forward. And that game is one of the most interesting meshes of narrative and mechanics I've ever played. It's fucking heartbreaking, but, Shrouded Wolf, have a good rest of your evening. Hope work goes okay. Yeah, I've got to give it a little nod here. Nothing else that will remind me to put it on my own fucking Game of the Year list this year, even though originally it released a few years ago, but PSVR 2 is where I played it. And I feel justified in putting it on my Game of the Year list, because I'm like, it was the PSVR 2 version that, like, made that game feel as magic as it did. Oh, Yoldy Badger. That's why I'm working on Twitch tonight, is I gotta get work done, and like doing it with people watching means I actually have to sit and do it. Sometimes that's how I defeat the procrastination. Well, the number of really interesting titles for the made great use of the device, such as for your eyes. Highlight of the launch period was, in my opinion, the PSVR 2 port of Res Infinite. Res Infinite is a first-person on-rails shooter where you fire projectiles at wireframe incoming enemies. Are they wireframe? I know the visual style. Let Res Infinite. Are they technically wireframes? No. How do I describe this art style? How do I describe what I'm looking at here? Chunky polygonal, neon polygonal. Well, some of them are wireframes. That'll be why I've said wireframes. There are some wireframes. Chunky polygonal, more accurate. Which I probably could say wireframes. Hey, Warmanny, how you doing? Home inspection went well, one step closer to having my own place again. Congrats, hurrah! Yoldy Badger says, I need to finish making a weighted plush toy for a nephew, some fingerless gloves for Christmas presents, clean the bathroom, take a shower, make a shopping list. Yep. I need to remember that Christmas is rapidly approaching and, like, act upon that knowledge. I need to, like, put on my calendar, reminder, Christmas. But if it's not on the calendar, I'm not gonna fucking remember it. I'll suddenly be like, ah shit, hello, Christmas is here. So many things to do, let's do nothing, yay. The ADHD experience looks at you and goes, yep. Yes, it's a bunch of little stuff and I have the time, but my brain is like, need to do everything now. Yes, inability to task prioritize and therefore task paralysis. It's a fun one, gotta love it. The PSVR 2 port cloud players use eye tracking to control their aiming reticle, making it so that using just eyes and a single button you could target and fire to incoming ships without the use of an analog. Terra, the problem there is that I've been trying very hard over the last several years to, you know, build up healthy, stable, loving friendships. God damn me, I'm my worst enemy. I have regular ongoing friendships in real life groups of friends. I see for ongoing events. How dare I do this to me? I've created this problem for myself. You can target and fire at incoming ships without the use of an analog stick. The execution wasn't perfect. The most part possible without movement. There were occasional segments where an enemy would appear to one side of the player, requiring a brief turn of the head. The PSVR 2 isn't without its accessibility concerns and issues. The Audio Badger says, the problem is I like making things and then don't super plan over the year. It's like, I can get 8 homemade projects in 2 months, it's fine, yeah. Yeah, you are experiencing the thing I experience, which is, I can't start working on a thing when I have, like, a huge amount of time to work on it and do so, like, you know, well in advance. I need the adrenaline, the cortisol that comes from, oh my god, there's a looming deadline, stress, to fuel me. It's the only thing that reliably in this life makes me do stuff is there is a deadline and it's close enough that I can feel it. I gotta work. I gotta love that cortisol. Love that stress chemical saying, hey, do. The PSVR 2 isn't without its accessibility concerns and issues. Most software won't let you lie down and set the ceiling to be your looking forward position. The eye tracking doesn't work properly if it can't detect two eyes consistently. The tech did support some creative gameplay mechanics, which were notable as proof of concept for there being a mass market appeal for controlling video games using eye tracking, a technology made use of by disabled gamers for years. Yeah, okay, that works as a first draft. Already don't know if I'm losing focus. Is it bad that there's part of me that's tempted to do a Vampire Survivors run for the last, like, 40 minutes of stream? Would anyone think worse of me if I jumped over to Vampire Survivors and was like, I have been... the dopamine seeking has defeated me. March. Okay. March. Cool. I might try and get one more of these written before I do that. How am I doing word count wise? How much have I done? Okay, I've done over 1,000 words. I'm getting there. I have made it to March, which is like a third of the way into the year. Get the rest of that done tomorrow. Definitely. Alongside the freelance deadline I have tomorrow. I can definitely do it. That lovely, lovely cortisol will get me through. I mean, there's the other option, which I've done sometimes, which is open a tiny little Vampire Survivors window on the screen. So I'm typing and then occasionally Vampire Survivors-ing. Which is, I'm not gonna lie, it's I sometimes do this for work. You know what? Could just be console capture. Console capture 1. You can tell how wonderfully laid out my streaming software is. Ah. Now, to see whether feeding the dopamine helps or hinders. This is the kind of day we're having. This is an insight into my creative process, as it were. I forget my pin, but I'm also not putting my pin in on stream. Why are you being like this? Oh, I didn't forget my pin. There we go. The bit where I get to type in my pin. There we go. I'm gonna show up okay in the little box on the stream. Probably going to replace the Zelda soundtrack, I imagine. Oh, yeah, let's turn off the Zelda soundtrack, and then Vampire Survivors going, which console capture, let's have to turn this up for me to hear audio in here? Can any of you hear this? Is there audio for anyone? Or just not for me? I don't mind if there's no audio. Not the end of the world, just... I'll put the Zelda back on. Okay. Cool, I'll get the Zelda music back. That's fine. We'll work to the Zelda music. I didn't want two sources of music happening at the same time. I gotta get level 80 with you. Give me that garlic and then this will just basically automate. I'm gonna set up a build where I can just not have to interact with this and do my writing while dopamine happens at me. A silly little game makes the chemicals happen at my brain. Get this fancy man to throw furniture everywhere. Give me the garlic. Yeah, then I can just sort of stand in the middle and everything will die as it gets to me, and that's how we do this. Okay, so what we're doing? We're doing Brock the Investigator. That. I gotta make sure I've got the Twitch chat back. Open. Die as they reach me. Hey, London Cheesehead. How are you? Okay. Now, when did Brock the Investigator originally launch? That's probably the more important question. When did that game originally release? How much? It was 2022. Okay, I don't know specifics, but that's it's enough for me to look at it and go, it was at least a while after launch. Okay, that's how we're gonna angle this piece. Next Tad says, oh my goodness, it's the Laura Kate Dale. Speaking of accessibility, I watched Mike Burnfire do a video essay on Ratchet & Clank's in adaptive difficulty. Yes, I love adaptive difficulty as a thing that quietly happens in the background, and it's a thing that I would love to do like some in-depth discussion of at some point, but I think people outside of the accessibility space have done more interesting coverage of the topic than me already. I'm like, I want to find a specific angle on it that feels mine, but it is a really interesting topic and cool to hear that there's good videos out there on the topic. Okay, so yeah, Brock was a 2022 release, and that's how we're gonna frame this. So yeah, we're gonna go back in 2022, a game called Brock the Investigator was released, which, true to its name, featured and as its protagonist, an investigator alligator trying to provide his teenage. Was the character his son? I wanna check gendering before I assume. Brock the Investigator. Characters. Pronouns. Stepson, a father, not a part of life. Stepson, yeah, that's fine. Cool. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the case, but I just wanted to. I haven't played a game in a while. I'm like, let me double check character. Let me double check character pronouns before I race ahead. London Cheese says, I hope the Forza Motorsport accessibility feature, I assume you mean the blind driving audio assist, is in the next Forza Horizon game. I hope so, but there is a weird degree of like features not matching across those, because Forza Horizon had sign language interpreters, which weren't in the new Forza Motorsport, but like, I hope that those teams standardize the things and go, I worked on this, well, I worked on this, cool, we'll put both of those in both. Yeah. Let me finish getting that build together. That's fine. Okay. Teenage stepson. Yeah. Oh no. There was a mini boss, and I just was not. I am not a strong enough build to ignore the presence of a mini boss yet. That's on me. Probably gonna die doing this anyway, but it's fine. Okay. Probably just leave that for a minute. I need that red heart, but in March. I shouldn't say a game, I should specify what kind of game. A 2D point and click adventure game called Brot the Investigator. Okay. Yeah, that's how we do it. We specify the genre. For the bat right now to finish. I need that red heart. I need some health regen starting. Okay, March 2023. The game saw a surprise update which patched in a number of accessibility features, most notably including a series of accessibility updates designed in consultation with a blind gamer to make the game more playable by blind gamers, developed in consultation with a blind gaming accessibility specialist. That's fine, actually. New support features included audio description of some characters, cutscenes, and locations, as well as go well, but that's fine. We redo, restart. Gonna be perfect. Text to speech. Highlighted. Item descriptions. Redesigned puzzles for blind players and audio cues for side scrolling combat encounters. Remember, have the rerolls, get the good build early. It's not a piece of the puzzle, I can just reroll, that's fine. Really need is the garlic at about this point. Or the tiramisu, I guess. Why not? Give me the garlic so I can sort of set and forget this. It's the red heart. Level and garlic would do. Restart the run. Need that garlic. Cornerstone. It's the cornerstone of what I am trying to do. Perfect. Garlic. Everything else can just fall in place around me. Right. Well, it's always preferable at a game releases with accessibility support in place on day one. The next best thing is an update like this that overhauls accessibility down the line. Any developer who takes the time to up their game post-release to make it more accessible is worthy of praise, and Brock, the investigator, was definitely this year's big example of how you can make it more accessible by listening to feedback from players. Yeah, not much more needs to be said about Brock. That game has its problems, it's not perfect, but it was definitely notable. I gotta avoid making the next one too much of a pat on the back. Or I did that earlier. But it is another thing. It's been nice looking at my 2023 back in, like, I think it was on the 4th of January, my things that need to become standards in video game accessibility during 2023. It is nice how many of those have either become standards or have taken significant steps toward being standards. There was the announcement of the PS5 Access controller, which obviously meant that we had accessibility controllers available for basically all of the major home consoles. But there was also, one of the other things I said was, hey, Xbox has accessibility store tags, we need that to be a standard. Get those on Nintendo and PlayStation as well. And PlayStation did it. PlayStation kind of got on that train. It was another one of those things where it's like, it's a thing that I said if it happens this year it would be a good step towards standardization, and it happened. And that is always positive. I'm just gonna work out how to write about that without going, look at me, I was right. I predicted a thing. Or they did what I said they should do. At the start of 2023, I published a video discussing things I hoped we would see move toward being standards in video game accessibility during the upcoming year. One of the predictions, one of the suggestions I made was that I would like to see, in it I noted that Xbox had store, allowing disabled gamers to see at point of purchase if a game featured accessibility settings they may rely on implemented to a sufficient degree of quality. I made the tags are a wonderful feature and something I wanted to see move toward being is not. The feature isn't widely supported by all developers on the platform. The increasing normalization we go, another one written. What do we got next? Yeah, Forza Motorsport. I think I am just going to do the announcement and talking about the released game at the same time. I think that's the way to do it on this one. Forza Motorsport announces ambitious DNA blind assists which at least to critical acclaim. Yeah. Make the tents consistent. Ambitious strives that in accessibility for their genres, there's perhaps a greater example this year to point to than Forza Motorsport A. The newest entry in the technical sim racing series, announcing early in the year that they were assist features designed to allow sightless blind players to compete in races unassisted without sighted assistance. Without sighted assistance. Not unassisted, because they are assisted by the assist features. It's assistance from the game rather than needing an outside third party to be that assistance is the distinction. With the help of accessibility consultants, including the very talented Brandon Cole, the game's ambitious blind driving assist aimed to be a highly customizable experience which could make the simulation accessible to a whole new audience. Conventional wisdom was that technical sim races are just an inherently inaccessible genre, something reinforced by their often unapproachable tuning mechanics, but upon release, what was here? The boss that killed me, that is on me. I'm not strong enough to just stand there and tank it yet. Need to occasionally keep an eye open for the mini-bosses. What's everyone doing tonight? I know this is not my usual style of stream, and I know it's not going to be to everyone's taste, but I hope people are having an enjoyable time just chilling while I make words happen. But only... I mean, I could be working more. I definitely could be not paying attention to Vampire Survivors, but you know, sometimes you gotta survive a vampire or two. I'm glad it's been nice background company. I could do more of these sometimes, do more just chill co-worky streams, maybe with a video game happening sort of near me. Upon release later in the year, Forza Motorsport demonstrated that demonstrated a mastery audio cues that unify distance from the track edge to spoken cues for upcoming turn, direction, and intensity. Game. Terra in the Twitch chat says, trying to incite a fight, but no one's biting at my hot take. Chai was the greatest protagonist of the year, and it was the best part of Hi-Fi Rush. Chai was... Chai served the role that they needed to in the narrative. I had fun with them at times. I thought they were a well-placed protagonist of what they were supposed to be, but also I just don't want to play as more nerdy early 20s boys with guitars that want to be rock stars. It's just a genre I've seen before. Like I don't need to play as Scott Pilgrim in my Hi-Fi Rush. Controversial statement. Tee. Oh, 808 drawing on the facial expressions. Oh no, 808 was the cat, wasn't it? What was the robot that drew on the face? Was that Peppermint? Who was the robot that drew on the facial expressions? They were great. They were fucking wonderful. Oh yeah, that was Cinnamon. Yeah, because they're the one that removed all the vowels because they're a robot. Yes, exactly, of course. Cinnamon was great. Please, everyone, draw on cartoonish facial expressions so I know what you're feeling. Huge strides in knowing how a fast-paced 3D driving game how other fast-paced 3D driving games and with some effort be playable via nothing but audio cues. As a cited to focus on mini-maps increasing. Yeah, just leave it there. In terms of games that made ambitious strides forward in accessibility for their respective genres, there's perhaps no greater example this year to point to than Forza Motorsport 2023, newest entry in the tactical sim racing series. Announcing early in the year that they were developing assist features designed to allow sightless blind players to compete in races without sighted assistance. Developed with the help of accessibility consultants, including the very talented Brandon Cole, the game's ambitious blind driving assists aim to be a highly customizable experience which can make the hardcore simulation racer accessible to a whole new audience. Conventional wisdom was that technical sim racers are just an inherently inaccessible genre, something reinforced by their often unapproachable car tuning mechanics. Upon release later in the year, Forza Motorsport demonstrated mastery of accommodating blind players without otherwise altering the experience. The game's blind driving assists were a little intimidating initially, but offer a degree of customizability that feels incredibly at home in a genre about fine-tuning over time to improve performance. From audio cues that signify distance from the track edge, to spoken cues for upcoming turn direction and intensity, it made huge strides in showing how other fast-paced 3D driving games can, with some effort, be playable via nothing but audio cues. The sheer number of audio assists on offer is a bit cacophonous if you try and turn them all on at once, and the game could perhaps have benefited from a dedicated tutorial for its audio assist, but settings on offer have a huge amount of depth if you take the time to learn them. There we go. This video script is continuing to happen. You go, making script happen. How many words have I done tonight? It's usually where I'd be ending the stream. Nearly 2,000 words. How many bullet points have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 left. This video is going to be too long. Going to be too long of a video. That's on me to deal with. Let's do at least one more tonight. Level up, I'll stand still, and we'll start writing about Street Fighter. In the summer of 2022, Capcom announced that Street Fighter 6 would getting, among other accessibility features, a new control scheme when it launched in 2023. Modern controls. They didn't strictly label modern controls and accessibility feature, assist features. You call it an. There's that boss I wasn't paying attention to. There it is. Give me every bloody time. Street Fighter 6 controls in Street Fighter 6 were designed to simplify input complexity and reduce the need for memorization and execution of combos during combat. I can see my typing accuracy going down a little bit, which is a good sign that I'm a little on the sleepy side. Control scheme. Reduced inputs heavy and special attack buttons with super moves pulled off using a single button and a directional modifier similar to the controls seen in the Super Smash Bros. Series. While not every single move on every single character is accessible this way, and there's a degree of automation of combo strings. Generally speaking, the new control scheme does a great job of making gameplay more mechanically and cognitively accessible, and reducing the barrier to entry for play. Players can transfer muscle memory. Yeah. Between fighters, and if they do wish to access any missing moves, combo inputs are still available. What's the other mode they introduced that was button mashy? Street Fighter 6 button mash. Dynamic control scheme, that's the one. Ah, I show up near the top when searching that, that's cool. Dynamic control scheme. Also introduced new dynamic control scheme, which was even further reduced in complexity. Largely automate attack choice, clarifying that shut off the Vampire Survivors and I can come back to that when I am awake and not trying to work on something else. I'm gonna finish this bit of writing. Done for the night. Let's finish this. Local offline matches. Additionally, I'll be Street Fighter series has for a while been playable by sightless blind players via audio cues. Street Fighter 6 offered additional new audio cues to further support players who were primarily interacting via audio. The fact that Street Fighter 6 isn't the undisputed title holder for 2023's most accessible fighting game is a testament to the quality of a later entry in this list, not a slight against Street Fighter. This year saw 2 different fighting game series take large leaps forward in accessibility in different ways, and while modern controls very different ways, for me, modern controls was a huge deal, but I can't find anyone who finds this as a preference for this year's other major in the genre. Accessible. Yeah, if I just sort of hint toward the fact that the Mortal Kombat stuff's coming later, like my personal preference, but that's fine. Well, not every single move. Modern controls in Street Fighter 6 were designed to simplify input complexity and reduce the need for memorization and execution of combos during combat. The control scheme reduced inputs to focus on light, medium, heavy, and special attack buttons, with special super moves pulled off using a single button and a directional modifier, similar to the control scene in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Not every single move on every single character is accessible this way, and there's a degree of automation of combo strings. Generally speaking, the new control scheme does a great job of making gameplay more mechanically and cognitively accessible, reducing the barrier to entry for play. Players can transfer muscle memory between fighters, and if they do wish to access any missing moves, combo inputs are still available. The game also introduced a new dynamic control scheme, which was even further reduced in complexity to largely automated attack choice, simplifying combat. Mostly requiring choice of when to attack, but only for local offline matches. Additionally, while the Street Fighter series has for a while been playable by sightless blind players via audio cues, Street Fighter 6 offered additional new audio cues to further support players who are primarily interacting via audio. The fact that Street Fighter 6 isn't the undisputed title holder for 2023's most accessible fighting game is a testament to the quality of a later entry in this list, not a slight against Street Fighter. This year saw 2 different fighting game series take large leaps forward in accessibility in very different ways. For me, modern controls was a huge deal, but I can't blame anyone who has a preference for this year's other major accessible player in the genre. And yeah, I'll deal with Diablo 4. Morning. Well, it's been a lovely chill stream. I hope you've enjoyed watching me work out what the first 2,000 words of a video are going to be. It'll probably be up, I imagine, next week. Hope you've all enjoyed. This is a stream format you've enjoyed. I might do some more of these sometimes. Like, I might just do some daytime ones of these while I'm getting on with work. It's nice to have some accountability and to have some... I gotta do this. There's people paying attention to the fact I'm working. Have a good rest of your night, everyone. I hope you enjoy. I'm gonna go get some sleep. And then in the morning, get back to writing this, because the work doesn't make itself, unfortunately. I commit to making things, and then I have to do the bit where I actually have to make it. Have a good rest of your night, everyone. Goodbye.